What's up, Sam Ekstrom, Luke Inman. We're talking Vikings targets in the upcoming draft on the Zone Coverage Draft Guide. Haven't had to say this much in recent years. Vikings might need another defensive end. Everson Griffin gone in free agency. Luke, you're holding out hope he's coming back.
Never say never.
Never say never. That's what Everson said. Hey, might happen. If it does, great. Take this need off the board. But unless you think Afadio Denebo is your starter, and he might be, you're going to want to add some talent here. Is it early? Is it middle? Is it late? Again, we mentioned this in the tackles video. Vikings kind of like those middle rounds for defensive linemen. They don't always invest high picks at defensive end or defensive tackle, but I think it's worth discussing. These higher tier guys, I mean, if you're looking for a Danielle Hunter comparison, raw pass rusher out of LSU, maybe a little bit kind of untapped, Clavon Chasen out of the champion Tigers might fit the bill.
Yeah, if we were sitting here and we didn't need corner and maybe safety and offensive line and receiver, I would sit here and really circle these guys at pick 22 or 25. That seems to be a good sweet spot or landing spot. Late teens, early 20s, that's the kind of talent both these guys have. He'll probably be gone. I have him mocked to the Atlanta Falcons if he was there. Even with Ifedi and so many needs, it's almost a no-brainer. You can't pass on another Danielle Hunter type of prospect. Your tier girls, if you've ever sat down and watched a Penn State game, it seems like this guy dominates and splash plays all the time. But again, with Ifedi splashing like he did last year, Sam, and obviously Danielle Hunter being the one of the best defensive ends in the league, I'm not sure how much of a priority you can really expunge on those 2 early round picks on a guy like that at those positions.
So it might wait until day 2. And Jonathan Greenert, now that's an interesting prospect. Started at Louisville, had an injury in 2018, pretty underwhelming. Grad transfers to Florida and explodes. So he's got one big season under his belt. He's a little older, but he is rising up the charts. Jonathan Greenert, your thoughts?
From the Senior Bowl, I got to talk to him, check out the interview on zonecoverage.com. I got to watch him all week. He was an outstanding, could be a great base 4-3 defensive end. Led the SEC in tackles for loss for edge rushers. He's explosive. He could really get in the backfield. Again, get any one of these names with Andre Patterson. He's just got a great pedigree. We talked about defensive tackles. They got some good depth with Armin Watts and Hercules Mataafa. Not at edge. They're going to really need to grab one of these guys, if not 2, in the later rounds.
And you got some big-name schools here on day 3. Bama, Michigan, Notre Dame, Michigan State. I mean, Terrell Lewis, you've talked a lot about on the machine of late, I feel like.
Yeah, we talked about Antoine Winfield's going to get knocked a little bit out of the first round because of injury concerns. Natane Mutai, the guard from Fresno State's going to get knocked. This is another guy with first-round talent written all over him. He's the prototypical 6'5", 255 base 4-3 defensive end. Some major knee issues. So how far does he fall? Where do the medicals check out with Eric Sugarman? That's going to be important. But if you want good value and the medicals check clean, this guy, if you can get him anywhere on day 3, I'm talking even early 4th round where they got Drew Samia, anywhere on day 3, I like throwing a dart up on the board, scratching off the lotto ticket, because this guy you could hit a home run with.
And with medicals, too, it's worth mentioning that because of the pandemic, a little harder to see these guys in person. First of all, you have fewer workouts, no pro days, tougher to get a physical. So maybe someone like that, where ordinarily you could test them out and see if they're okay. This year, you might not want to take that risk.
Absolutely. Right. It's going to be tough. Everything's going to be a little goofy with what's going on this pandemic. I think the big losers of this whole thing is going to be the small school guys, unfortunately, that just don't have enough tape for these scouts, that didn't get good pro days and good looks. A lot of these guys, big programs coming from, they should be okay.
He's Luke. I'm Sam. Vikings Targets, Zone Coverage Draft Guide. Keep watching. Plenty more videos where that came from.